to him, and you need to reflect in your body emotions the fact that you're listening to him with your face, with your head, with your hand, and this is very important. Researchers showed research showed that the way you listen to a child, the feedback that you're giving to a child through listening is the way that he'll rate experiences. For example, if the child will come to you and say, you know, Father, I made this great picture today. It was so fun. We drew this nice thing. And you're on the computer and you're saying, really, that's nice, and you're looking at the computer. The way that he'll rate inside of him the act of drawing will be much less effective. Or if he comes to you and he tells you, you know, today we went to a trip and we learned about this and about that, and you say, oh yeah, or you're not even listening, you're talking to the mother, he'll rate it for him as a grown-up or for him as a child, going to a trip won't be something so important because of the feedback you gave him. And if he, for example, invented a game or came up with a new idea and you turn to him, paused, and it's hard with kids like 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds that always ask questions and always tell you stuff, but you pause and you showed an interest, for him it will be something important. He will, research shows it very clearly. For him, this action will be something important that he want to engage in more and more. Why? Because you as an adult gave him this feedback that you truly listened, that it was important for you. And that's how, through a very simple action of listening, we can shape the lives and the values and the activities of the kids we work with, and also of adults. I have a TV show called The Butterfly Effect, and we have guests coming twice a week, academic persons, social entrepreneurs, and all kinds of people. And they come to us, and all we do is listen. It's unbelievable. We talk with the guest 20 minutes before the show, understand what he wants to talk about, and during all the show, all we try to do is help him say what he wanted to do. And people are going out of it like they don't want to leave. They're like in complete flow. They recommend to all their friends. They say, if you want me again on the show, just let me know. And people coming from Jerusalem, from the north to Petah Tikva, and 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 we don't have a big studio, and the building is ugly, and you don't have too much cakes and stuff, but the person felt that first time in his life, especially in TV, somebody really listened to him, really wanted to understand what he said. And you don't need to be smart for that. You just need to listen. Okay, so this is first level, to shut up, which is very hard, believe me, I know on myself. No, for me it was a very, because somebody tells you something, immediately you want to say something, because it reminds you of this. You need to work hard to shut up. So you need to shut up, you need to turn to him, you need to reflect that you're listening, okay? And the second level, which is a more deeper one.
I had a problem with my daughter, and I got this advice, and I want to say to parents with their children that are a little bit more active, that sometimes this kind of listening is not enough just to turn the body. For my daughter, she could not feel that I listened to her. She could not have an interaction with me if I wouldn't put my hand on her shoulder, for example. Some children, if you want them to feel, if you want to create this listening interaction, even a touch is necessary, not even a turning, looking eye to eyes. Just kids on a level of activity that is not enough. You need actually to make them feel that you're there. Physically feel that you're there.
Yeah, for men it's much more harder than for women, because for women communication is a part of life. For men there is not really a need for communication. There is a problem, we need to solve the problem. So it's very hard for a man first to communicate more than 2 minutes, not in order to understand the problem so he can solve it, and second to listen. Okay, so it's okay. So the second level is revelation, meaning that I'm not only here to listen. I really want to reveal or to understand what you want to say. So the way to do it is through open questions. You don't want to ask a yes or no question. Did you learn something new in the kindergarten? No. Yes. Okay, that's the end of the conversation. Okay. Or you come and say, What is the most important thing we did today in the kindergarten? So it says we had food, we had pasta. Yeah. Kids usually go for the food because it's easier. But so you want to go for open questions that will open what the child or the other person wanted to say. So the best way to do it is just to reflect what he said and to take it from there. For example, you tell me, Ron, Ron, I have this problem with kids. So I go like, problem with kids, and then go, okay, so listen. And then people think you're smart and stuff like that. Okay. The second thing is that you really want to you really want to learn. You really want to be curious. You need to be like a small child. That you want to feel that like what the person tells you is a story that you want to reveal, and you need to reflect that and to show that okay, and what happened then, and what happened then, and how did you feel? How did you feel later? But what is also important is that in cases of conflicts, you shouldn't search for whom to blame. Who should I blame? Or who is? But you want to ask who is responsible for the situation, or why did it happen, and how did you feel, and how did he feel, and what did you think? Most of the conflicts come from the lack of communication, especially with children. If you open a table, like a round table or something like a co or a role-playing game, you see that in most cases, most of the conflicts is because I thought the game was like this, and he thought the game was like that, and that's a complete World War III, yes? And when you open, you see that basically either he couldn't explain or he couldn't listen, okay? The group that had the game with the back-to-back yesterday with the drawing, it was very clear. You see on a simple game how it's so hard for us to explain, to really explain ourselves, to not take for granted that the person in front of us, or in this case, the back of us, knows what we feel or what we think. We need to completely understand, to completely explain from the basics, and the other person must listen like a plain sheet. Otherwise, it doesn't work this game. Sheet. What? Sheet. Yeah, not that sheet. Okay. Also, you want to you want to show that you're listening, but the fact that you're not confident. If somebody come to you and tell you, okay, Eran, we had this problem in the group, in the group we did in the seminar. Some people didn't want to cooperate, and then I go like, really, they didn't want to cooperate, so I know this problem. You need to do like this. You didn't do anything, okay? You need to understand. You need to first to let it finish. Then you need to understand, and what did you want to achieve from that? Okay. So I understand that what you wanted to achieve was like this and like that, and the problem was like this and like this. Do I understand it correctly?
Yes.
Okay. And then this is listening. Okay. And then you can truly take it from there. And I'm telling you, if you come to this stage, the person feels that 50% of his problem on the emotion level is solved. You see it with students. You see it with students in lesson. Sometimes a student has some kind of objection, and he gets up and he says, "I don't understand," blah, 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 blah. And you just say, and you just stand there and you say, "I understand that it's very hard for you to understand this and this. Am I correct?" And he goes like, "Yes." And I can even go on with the lesson. I don't even. No, really. I don't even need to confront the problem with the answer. For example, today in the morning with the code, it was very obvious. Yeah, there were people asking, "Why don't you do the code? You should do the code." So I can say, I understand that it's very important for you to do the code because it's something that you can implement in conflicts with your children. It's something very important to you. Okay, I write it for myself. It's important to do the code. And then I say, okay, I need to fly. No time today. But it doesn't matter because in that moment, that person received an emotional response. Okay. He received that somebody relates to his problem like it's the most important thing in the world. Okay, and this already is half of the solution. Okay, everybody's with me? Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, so it's pretty simple to understand. It's pretty simple to understand. It's much harder to implement. Okay, so what can you ask? Okay, what are the things you can ask? You can ask about facts. What happened? When did it happen? Who is involved? Was it in these conditions or in that conditions? Okay, so facts. You can ask about the subject. So understand that the subject or the problem is concerning this and that. Okay. You can ask about the relationship. So understand that in this situation you were involved and your mother was involved and your father and what exactly are your relationship. And then you try to get more information about the situation between people. Okay. Okay. And the last thing, of course, that I said that, about emotions and feelings. And again, I want to ask you. So you probably felt sad. Do I understand it correctly? Or you probably felt very disappointed. It's a very unpleasant feeling, right? Okay. Okay. And the third level is, as I said, yeah. The second level of listening is giving feedback, but it's giving feedback on the listening level. You still don't solve anything. You just give feedback, and through this feedback, emotional feedback, you want to give the person in front of you or the child the feeling that you understand it. I'm telling you, especially in our world, this is a very scarce feeling. And if you find somebody who truly, ask your wife, if you find somebody who can really listen to you, it's like the greatest gift of all.
Yeah.
Because it's very hard to be understood. Very hard. And today with the global attention disorder, nobody's oriented, nobody listens, nobody, you have like everything is multitasking. Everything you need to do while you listen, you need to do the dinner, and you need to solve this problem to answer in the chat, and you need to arrange the kids in the shower. And you listen. Yes. Okay.
So that's the question. How do you do it?
What?
How do you listen if you at the same time have to take the thing out of the house and do the dinner and I don't know, do some other stuff?
There is a very famous story about a professor that built an aquarium with all kinds of stuff that you need to fill into the aquarium, and ask the kids in the classroom to fill it up. And then they filled first the sand, and then the stones, and then all kinds of stuff, and then the rocks didn't have place. So in the end, they understood that if they want to fill the aquarium, they need to start from the big rocks, then the smaller stones, then the stones like this, and in the end the sand, and everything fills. So if you put in your schedule like iron, half an hour a day, 1 hour a day, to spend with your spouse, to spend with the kids, or in class, you know that you have half an hour to sit down with the kids and listen. This is all it's needed. Okay? Listening shouldn't be like something you do on the way. You want to put it in your schedule. It's one of the most important, and it's the most simplest thing to create relationship. It's more simple. You don't need to do anything. You just need to be there. For kids, it's very obvious. They don't need anything from you. Just be there. You know that they did the research in India. Terence talked about it, but they didn't describe the whole experience. What they did, they put a few kids in front of a computer and let them play and find out everything. And they found out that they played very good, even better than from a frontal teacher. And then they found out that if they take, and why did they do that? Because they don't have money to send teachers to other countries, so they just put a computer in every village. And then they found out that if they take some old Indian grandmother and they put her in the background, and she just sits there and she smiles, and if they do something nice, she does like this, and this improved the learning capability by 30%. Just a grandmother sitting there. She doesn't do anything. She just smile, and they feel that she's there. And when they do something, they come. They say, "You see, they succeeded," and she doesn't even know what they do, but they say, "Oh, very nice." And that's it. That's it. Yeah.
So that's not the fun of it because in the same like the comparative experience when they do the same thing. The exercise was to solve something about atomic physics. And they just to complete because it's very important. What they did in the experiment when they did the exercise was to solve something about atomic physics for a kid age 12. Okay, so not big complicated but still challenging. And they did they did experiments with two things. They put the kids with the physicist, so the guys who knew, on the kid that the computer with internet, on with Indian grandmama, on the kids, on she doesn't know shit about the physics. Okay, and the results were the same by 5% in the success of the kids. So just listening is important.
Yeah. No. Also, it's okay. There are a lot of other experiments that show. For example, there are a lot of experiments that show the problem with an intervening parent, which is actually like a frontal teacher that comes and tells the kids, "Hey, you should do this, why you did that, why you did this, do it like this, I think you should do like this." And this is very ruining the learning experience. And what they found out that the best kind of parent for kids to develop is a kind of parent that only creates the environment that enables the kids to always develop and find interest, and gives them how should I say, an emotional feedback. It doesn't even have to be intellectual feedback. You don't even have to relate. Sometimes it even ruins if the kids come to you and say, "I solved the problem. I think that 1 + 1 is 3," and you say, "No, it's 2." This is a ruining experience. Okay, but if you say 1 + 1 equals 2, and you go like, "Really, you really tried it, and that's what it came from. That's great. Okay, and now let's ask the other child. Maybe he thinks differently." Okay, so you create the environment.
I think you didn't get the point. Maybe just someone what's the point?
The point is that the best thing you can do for your child or for other person is give the emotional feedback that you're there. You don't have to be smart. You don't even have to be advanced.
But good one.
What?
But good one.
Good emotional feedback.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. This is, look, most of the conflicts between most of the communication. איך אתה אומר קצר? No, קצר, כמו בחשמל.
Like electricity.
Shortcut. Like electric shortcut. How do you say it? Is there a word for that?
Electric shortcut.
Shortcut. Okay. Whatever, shortcut. So most of the communication shortcuts between men and women is on the level of listening, because most of the time a woman just want to be understood. She doesn't even look for a solution, and she just wants that the other person will really understand what she wants to say and how she feels. But a man works differently. So a man in his brain, first he gets annoyed that she brings him another problem because he has enough problems, and then he needs just to solve the problem and move on.
And mostly it happens at 12 o'clock in the
At
night.
12 o'clock in the night. Because you need to solve the problem, go to sleep. So it's better to set time at 7 o'clock, and the man needs to understand that this is a ritual we need to do, just to listen and talk, doesn't matter about what, and be there. And with time, you even learn to ask all kinds of very uninteresting questions, like what the kids did today, how was it, how did you feel? But it's a profession, and and the woman gets a place where she can really evolve and create the relationship. Okay, I'm doing it like humorous, but it's very important. Okay, okay. Okay, so the last so we said the first one is to be there, like with body and silence and everything. The second is to be curious and to try to find out, and the last part is to reflect, is to confirm what you understand. And this is also very hard for us because we think that we are so smart that the moment we are being told about something, we already understand it. So it requires from us to be to take איך אומרים, to be more modest, to be more modest with ourselves, modest,
Humble.
humble, yeah, to be more humble
What is
and
humble?
anava, anav, anav. So so it requires us to be more humble and to really try to confirm the fact, the emotion, the situation, the process with the person that told us that. Okay? And if we can do that, then we can truly establish a relationship, because once it's like flow. Once you give a person, or like the experience of having fun in being together, once you give a person or a child this very special feeling or moment that he's being listened to, that he is the most important thing, or his thoughts and emotion are the most important thing in the whole world right now for you, then he wants to come back to that. And then you don't need to spy on your kids in Facebook, or look or get a private detective to see what they're doing, because they want to share with you, because the atmosphere is of sharing, because they see that they're evolving through communicating with you, and you are one of the closest persons on earth. Okay, so that more or less was about after listening. You can share from your experience. You can ask questions, whatever you want.
Are there any exercises that one can implement in order to learn how to do that?
Yeah, you can exercise and everything. Like in every interaction, you can exercise. You can check yourself. How much am I really listening right now? And if it's better, especially with kids, but also with adults, if you're not free or you need to go very quickly somewhere, then you want to tell this person, I'm not emotionally free to listen to you now. So I write it down and make sure that you get back to it. But that's the way to do it,
Yeah.
because you don't want to do it on the way.
I prefer more like games or something that can take to the family.
Look,
or the couple and actually practice.
the best game is that the game we did on the first night. You know, the mirror game. Mirror game is a very good game for listening. But after you do a mirror of somebody, also the discussion afterwards will be different. And
There are physical games, and actually, again, like we did with the listening and remembering,
yeah,
not yet need to be developed.
yeah, that's also good. But again, every game that you need to you can add to this process limitations and create it. Yeah.
How can I improve my
Also, the game that I talked about with the drawings, it's also
how can I improve my attention time? How can I when I'm on lecture I cannot actively listen and take all this information? How can I work on this?
for, first of all, it would be best if you can do the structure. Like if you talk about a lecture, then the easiest thing is to define if you're very bored, the thing you want to do is well, there are two things you can do. The simple thing is to count how many times the lecture said some kind of word. Okay, and but then you're missing the material. It's like the who had the Zerubbabel story. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same point. Okay, and the other way to do that is to try to build the lecture that the professor had. So it's like a story, the lecture, and you want to understand the levels he did that, and how did he get from one thing to the other, and the stories he built it inside and write it.
What about if I'm talking with someone and this someone has a long story and he speaks really slow and I want to pay attention but I cannot?
Okay, this is the problem. This is the problem. Then, no, no. Then you need to tell him. Then you need to tell him. Listen, I really have a problem. I really have a problem with the way I speak because I can't concentrate. If I understood from what you started to say, the situation was like this. Am I correct? And then he says yes or no. And then you need more to lead him. You need to be more active in the listening. It's not a good situation, but sometimes there is no choice. Sometimes there is no choice. You tell somebody, okay, one sentence. Or you can tell him, okay, let's do a game. Tell me what you want to do. Tell me in one sentence. Sometimes my second child is someone he can start talking and he doesn't stop. You know, he goes talking and he plays and he talks and he goes to the kitchen and he talks. And for him, he starts the whole story. Yes. See, so we make a game at home that okay, now you need to say how you felt in one sentence. Okay. What, what you felt in one sentence. And now say in one sentence what happened there. Okay. And then you also help him build this ability to be very precise. Okay, but it's also again, I'm using the limitation of scarcity. Yes, that he doesn't have a lot of words to explain. There is very scarce resource, one sentence. So it becomes very important, this sentence. You need to think what I want to say in this sentence. Okay?
Is it possible to use this active listening in group discussions?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's no, sure.
But perhaps some advice how to do that.
Basically the same thing, but the art of a moderator, in the end, the art of a moderator, to be a good moderator, is that you need to actively listen to each one, everyone, and you need to create some kind of picture. And when you create this picture, you bring it to the group, and then everybody can add or change. You come and you say, okay, what I understand from all this discussion is this and that and that and that, and like this said and this and this. And now correct me, okay? This is the fastest way to bring a group to a common decision when everybody is happy. For example, when we do round tables, we do that. Because he's talking about this, and he's talking about that, and he's talking about that, and he's talking about. The role of a moderator is to listen to everybody, build some kind of common picture, say, do I understand that this is what we're talking about? Now everybody can add or change, and then you close the picture. And that's how you do it. That's why I didn't understand why sometimes it took you more than 3 minutes. Because if the moderator now tries to control the conversation, you speak now. Okay, now you speak. Okay, now you speak. It doesn't help. It doesn't help for moving forward. In order to move forward, you need to listen. Okay, listen. Okay, listen. Okay, listen. Okay, okay. I got this picture. This is the common picture I understand. If this is correct, and if say no, you didn't understand me, it's like this. Okay, I'm changing. Didn't understand me, it's like this. Okay, I'm changing. Oh, you forgot this. Okay, I'm changing. But then I close the picture. Okay?
How can you, as a moderator, how can you make sure the other one shows up in a friendly way?
What do you mean? Shut up in the
I can listen to one person who's speaking, and in the meanwhile, the other 5 are discussing.
No, so you're doing any kind of game. The first thing is to start without a game. Let's all listen to the person who speaks. That's the rule. If it doesn't help, you can do a speaking object. How is it called? It's a speaking object. We decide that this is a speaking object. That's how it's called in English. Maybe in English better word. Yeah, the only one who holds it can talk. That's the rule. The problem with the speaking object is that it doesn't create interaction. But if you're a good moderator, you can create interaction and it won't disturb the flow. Because a weak moderator that is unsure of himself, he wants this to speak, this to speak, this to speak with a speaking object. The problem is that you don't get an interaction, and sometimes a lot of the fun and a lot of the ideas are in the interaction. A more self-confident moderator would let one person speak, the other can relate, then he relates, and he let it flow so he controls it. Okay, we understand this. This is what you wanted to say. Okay, this is clear. Let's move on. Okay?
Somebody was never listened, and when he was in front of me, I don't believe I can listen to him. How can I do for him to believe me I can listen?
I'm saying you just need to repeat what he's saying. You just need to ask questions.
You have a problem? Just feel it. But if you don't talk, you work like this. If you have a problem,
If he doesn't talk, you don't need to listen. Okay, if you want to make somebody who doesn't talk, that's a different
But
lecture.
we have a rule
But
that everybody needs to participate.
in the flesh, yes. If it's a rule, it's a rule. But if you're talking about somebody that doesn't want to talk, and you come in front of him, I don't know, you want him to talk. If you want really him to talk, you can ask him. You can say, you know how very good investigators work. This is one of the courses I need to do. I do it sometimes, but I really want to do it because I saw somebody doing like he was working in Israeli Defense Forces as an investigator. Okay? This is brilliant job. He comes to you in the supermarket. He comes to you and he can tell, for example, Yaakov. Okay? So he tells you, he goes to Yaakov. Sorry, you were first. Yeah, okay, so please go ahead. I think I saw you somewhere in Jerusalem. No, you live in Jerusalem?
No.
No, you don't live in Jerusalem?
No.
Really?
My twin brother lives in Jerusalem.
Ah, really? I knew where do you live. And this is how you work. Because a person has a need to correct himself. A person has a need to correct himself. And then what they do, they give the wrong assumption. Okay? Oh, you look so happy. I think you had a nice thing today, right? Yeah? Okay. But if it was wrong, you would correct. Okay? Yeah, and then it goes on like this. But I need to learn it. I'm not very good. I need to take a course. That's one of the courses I need to take. But it's like an art. It's an art. Sorry. No problem. Okay. Okay. More experience questions. Yes. Okay. So basically that's it. It's not very complicated. It's harder to implement. It's harder to implement but if you implement, it's very good. Like I'm telling you, you can sit with somebody for 2 hours.